Today we're going to start with the emulsification process. Now I looked up the word emulsification for you, and it says emulsification essentially means bind or blend. The key to a good sausage is for the meat, fat, and liquid to all emulsify or blend into one another. For this part of the process, you will need a heavy-duty blender or a mixer, and I'm going to be using my Bosch mixer today. Now it also says emulsification is crucial for the texture and quality of certain types of sausages, especially those with a smooth texture like hot dogs and bologna. And I was going to use my cookie paddles, but I decided after I read my cookie paddle instructions and it said, oh my goodness, I'm glad I didn't use the cookie paddles. And it said, to prevent breaking the cookie paddles, do not mix hard, cold butter or stiff dough. I think this meat can qualify as a stiff dough. And then it says, if the paddle breaks, discard the entire batch of whatever you're mixing to prevent ingestion of plastic pieces. So that was a no-brainer for me. I decided to be on the safe side, and I'm using my metal dough hook, and it worked just perfectly. I ran it on the lowest speed of 1. And I mean, it's getting the job done, and it's not even struggling to get it done. So I'm happy that I made that choice. And as you can see here, the texture of my hot dogs are going to be just perfect. And here it is. Looks like meat candy, doesn't it? Looks like frosting. And that's exactly what I wanted. Perfect. Oh yeah, I'm good to go. Alright, so let me get my stuffer set up and then we will get to stuffing. Okay, I sprayed the inside of my canister with some avocado oil. And I'm going to be using cellulose casings. And the size is 32 millimeters. That's perfect size. It comes in 2 different sizes. This is the size that I use when I'm making my breakfast sausage links, and then this is more like a dinner size hot dog. And it looks just like frosting. I'm going to stuff that down in there. Ooh, it's going to be heavy. Get this. Jeez. I need a heavier spoon. I decided to go with my offset spatula. That way I can get into all those little nooks and crannies in my bowl here and around the metal dough hook. And I tell you what, I got a workout this day because that meat is really heavy, and I'm going to have to mute quite a few spots because it was working my nerves, and I was huffing and puffing and grumbling, and I didn't cuss. I was just grumbling. So anyway, the next few steps are going to be pretty well self-explanatory. I'm going to rip off some of the cellulose casings and put that on the stuffing tube and get everything all lined up with the canister and the plunger, and then we will be good to go. Put them together like this. I'm not going to do like I did last time. Last time I put the whole thing on there, and that was a bad thing to do because I ended up with raw meat right around in there that I couldn't get out. So that should be plenty right there. And I think I'm going to put on a pair of gloves. Yes, I need to put on my gloves because you know me and sticky stuff on my hands. And when I tell you this meat was super sticky, oh my goodness, this would have unleashed all of my triggers, and I wouldn't have got this video done. So having the gloves on was a good thing. Now, I have been using cellulose casings for a while now, and I enjoy them a lot. They're a lot easier for me to work with because, for one, you can stuff them as tight as you need to and they don't blow out on you. The only disadvantage is the fact that you remember when you're making sausage with hog casings, you can twist them and they'll stay twisted. These, it's just paper, so it doesn't stay twisted. You're going to have to tie it, measure out your hot dogs and then tie it with twine. If you prefer using hog casings, feel free to do so. Oh, I will put the links to all the equipment that I'm using and the cellulose casings, both sizes, in the description box below. And don't be intimidated about making sausage. If you don't have the equipment, it is no big deal because I'll show you in a video that I'll put in the iCard above where I took my ground meat and I put the spices in it, mixed it up. I use a cake decorating piping bag with the frosting tube. I picked both pieces up at Walmart like years ago, so you can make you can get the tubes different sizes and it'll be a lot easier for you. You can make your sausage or your hot dogs any size that you prefer. The next few steps are going to be pretty well self-explanatory. All I'm going to be doing is measuring out the size of my hot dogs, and then I'm going to tie them up with the twine and then repeat. I'll be working with this batch and one other batch. So sit back, relax, and watch me work like you always do. finally, I am done. All right, now there's still meat left in the stuffing tube here, so I'm just going to make me a little makeshift plunger and get that meat out of there because that's way too much meat to leave in there and let it get wasted. So as you can tell from my voice, I am dog tired. I have been fighting with this doggone stuffer for an hour, and I tell you what, I got my arm workout in today. I sure did. Now with this extra meat, I'm probably going to make a couple of burgers with it. I'm not going to run it back through the stuffer because I'm done with this stuffer for today. And there's still meat left in the canister here, right there. So I'm just going to take that out, add it to my bowl of meat here. That's enough for about 2 nice-sized burgers. And here they are all finished. And it took me some time to get them done, but that's totally okay. As you saw from the earlier footage there, I didn't really stuff them as tight as I normally do because that meat was so difficult to work with. So I did the best that I could. I had to squeeze some of it together to, you know, make it form into a nice hot dog. So all in all, it turned out pretty doggone good. And I know they're not all the same size, but that's okay. That's the beauty of making homemade hot dogs. You can do your own thing and you can make them any size you want. So from here, they're going into the fridge overnight, uncovered, and then in the morning, I will put them in a 200-degree oven, and I will be inserting a temperature probe in one of the hot dogs so I'll know when they reach their proper internal temperature. Alrighty, so I'm going to call it a night and take me a nice hot shower, have me a glass of wine, and I will be asleep before my head hits the pillow. So I'll see you in the morning. Alright, this is the next day, and I have my beef hot dogs in the oven. I have my oven on 200 degrees, and this is the internal temperature of my beef hot dogs right now. And I'm going to take them out because being as I'm cooking these in the oven, I will further cook them when I get ready to eat them. So I'm going to take them out right about here instead of 165. Oh, and you can't have beef hot dogs without hot dog buns, so I will be making hot dog buns later. I ran out of steam last night, so I'm going to do them today. Okay, these are out of the oven. I pulled them out of the oven at 158 degrees internal temperature. And I'm going to let them soak in the ice water just for a second, just to stop the cooking process. And here's one that I just tested. Come on. And you see the texture. They're still nice and juicy. And they're bright red. Okay, my neighbor just came out. Perfect hot dogs. And they are super, super good. I ran into a little issue last night because this meat, when it's all seasoned up and it sits for a minute, it gets really, really, really hard to do in the sausage stuffer. And I had just literally run out of steam last night because I was up till about 12:30 doing this project, and then I had to clean up the kitchen. So by the time I got done cleaning up the kitchen and putting everything up, it was a little after 2 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I ran out of steam. Hey, I'm an old person. And you just cut these off and they slide right out the casing just like so. And they are super, super, super good. I'm going to make some hot dog buns later, and I will be good to go. Now I have my beef ones made, so I think tomorrow I'm going to make some chicken ones because my hot dog supply is running a little bit low in the freezer. So I'm going to make a batch of chicken hot dogs tomorrow. And I gave my neighbor a couple to try. He loved them. That's going to be a perfect little snack one. So yeah, this one. This is the one I had the probe in. And if I were doing these on my grill, I wouldn't have. I don't put the cure in it when I'm able to cook them hot and fast. But I knew that I wasn't going to be cooking them on the grill, so that's why I put the cure in my mixture, because I don't want anything to develop to make me sick or anybody else sick. So you gotta follow the instructions. The air conditioner just came on, so this would be a good time to go over this information that I forgot to mention earlier. And on my package, it says these cellulose casings are non-edible, so peel before eating. And that's what I'm doing, peeling out the non-edible cellulose casings. The casings are ideal for larger skinless hot dogs or bratwursts. And I love this part. Do not soak the casings, stuff them dry. The length is 32 millimeters, 1.25 inch in diameter. They come 3 strands per pack at 35 feet per strand. And it says the stuffing capacity is approximately 50 pounds. And the last thing I absolutely love, because I'm into prepping and preserving and canning and dehydrating and making sure that stuff is shelf stable. And it says, no need to refrigerate the cellulose casings because they are shelf stable. I love that. From here, I'm going to put them on a cookie sheet, and I'm going to put them in the refrigerator. I'm going to leave them in there for a couple of hours. That should give them enough time for everything to cool off. Then I'm going to take them out and wrap them 2 per package, and then put them in vacuum seal bags and get them all sealed up, and they'll be good to go for freezer storage. And here's my beef hot dogs, all bagged and tagged and ready for the freezer. Alright, so tonight's dinner I plan on having one of my beef skinless hot dogs, and you can't have a hot dog without a hot dog bun. So about halfway through the baking time of my hot dogs, I started a batch of bread because the kitchen was nice and toasty, and I figured that would be a good time to start some bread, and the temperature made it perfect for my bread to rise properly. Alright, here I'm rolling out my dough, and I'm going to use my 30-year-old pizza stone. Don't judge. Hey, it still works, and it's 30 years old. It's a Pampered Chef. And tell me, anybody in the comments, if you still have a Pampered Chef pizza stone. Now I'm going to measure out each one of my hot dog buns to 2 ounces, because I don't want them too terribly big, because my hot dogs are not that big. And as you can see from my scale here, which is a handy dandy must-have thing in my kitchen, and you can see where I'm weighing them out, because I want them all to be about the same, and that's exactly 2 ounces. And here's what they look like in the pan after I let them rise for about 40 minutes. And then those little extras on the side there. And they're going into a 350-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes. Here they are. I'm slathering them with some more love. This is my homemade butter. Actually, I made it last week sometime. And check out my my hot dog buns. Look at my hot dog buns. Now, when I bought this pan, I was watching the video that they had on their Amazon page, and they made the dough and then laid it all out in the pan in one piece, and then they put like a cookie sheet over it, over the whole pan, so the hot dog buns wouldn't rise as high as they are here. I made it like that one time, and I thought, nope, I'm not gonna do it, because to me it just made it it made the buns too dense, and I did not care for them like that. So I'm doing them this way, and it works for me, and they're nice and fluffy, just like I like them. They're not all, condensed together. And what I ended up doing, I didn't throw the buns away. I cut them up, and then I dehydrated them and made breadcrumbs out of them. So, waste not, want not. We don't throw away food around this house. And my kitchen smells, between the hot dogs and the buns baking, my kitchen smells absolutely divine. Too bad you don't have scratch and sniff. And I decided to start another batch of butter because I'm down to my last stick of butter. You gotta multitask when you're in the kitchen. I mean, you know, I know I'm going to be in here all day long, so I'm going to get as much done as I possibly can. I am preparing my butter, so I'll have my supply in my freezer. I'm down to 1 stick, like I told you. So this is the first batch. I'm doing actually 2 batches, so you're not going to see the second batch, but this is the first batch. And that little butter maker, this little silicone butter maker, is absolutely wonderful to work with. You talk about a game changer as far as making butter. Just scoop it in there and slick it down and cover it up and put it in the freezer. And I'll leave it in there overnight and then take them out tomorrow, wrap them up, and then put them in vacuum seal bags again. We're done with that project. And you know what time it is. Here's the bun I'm going to use tonight for my beef hot dog. I'm going to slather it with my special sauce, and this sauce is thebomb.com, and if you want the recipe, it'll cost you $50,000 in small bills. The price went up. I had it on my last video at $25,000, so being as things are getting crazy, I had to go up on the price. So I'm just kidding. All right, so I slathered it with some of my secret sauce, and my hot dog, I had it in the same pan that I sauteed the onions and the bell peppers with, and I am just gonna cover it with these caramelized onions and caramelized bell pepper. Oh, you ought to smell my kitchen. This has been an all-day event. Cooking. I've been cooking all day, but I do this this is my once a month, and I do a whole bunch of batch cooking on, it takes, after I do my grocery shopping day, it takes me probably about a week to get everything all processed and packed up and batch cooking and all that stuff. So it's worth it to me to take a weekend to do what I have to do. That means I don't have to cook all month if I don't want to. So there. But check this out. I made the bun all pretty much the same size as a hot dog. Now I do have some that are longer. They're going to be hanging out the front, but that's okay. Now, would you like the first bite? Here. Come on, sis Norvella. I know you're going to be saying, God, sis, I wanted to try to get a bite, but you took it too soon. Here, sis. Oh. Mmm. 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 Believe it or not, I'm speechless. That's a first. This is so good. I went to Costco on Thursday, and I was thinking about hot dogs, and I made me some hot dogs today. Oh my goodness, that is so good. Okay. I'm gonna go. Thank you guys for hanging out with me all weekend. And I hope you make this recipe. You're gonna love them. And once you start making your own hot dogs, you're not gonna buy that stuff in the store ever again. You're welcome. See you when I see you.